Okay guys, the Grimm off-road upper control arms and Eibach coilovers are installed. How's it going guys? Doug back here again. As you guys know, just got the F150, doing some things to it already. Ordered the lift kit in. I want to show you guys that now. So this here is the Eibach Stage 2 trail kit that Stage 3 Motorsports put together. It's got the Grimm off-road uniball upper control arms right here. Here's the hardware kit for that. Let me go in. This is the Eibach Pro Truck 2.0 coilovers. These here are a difference from the Pro Truck 1 lift kit, which is rings that lift the base to get the proper lift size. These are actually threaded coilovers that are going in. They shipped me one shock. I guess the other one's back ordered, or it's going to be coming later. I had to call them on Monday to figure out what's going on with that. And then this is the Ready Lift 3-inch rear blocks right here with the U-bolts. So as you can see, a pretty full kit. Nice kit that we're going to be putting on here. It's nothing shady, like just some spacers you put on top of the coils. These are actually coilovers, much designed like the stock stuff. Replaces these altogether. You don't have to worry about a spring compressor or anything like that to put them on. So the upper control arms, the coilovers, the rear shocks, and the blocks. Now Eibach in Stage 3 says that these coilovers come with 2 inches of front lift. I'm going to be cranking those up a little bit. I want to get at least 2.5. So I got a spanner wrench that I'll be using to turn those up a little bit and get 2.5 inches of lift up front. And then I'm gonna put the rear blocks in. I like to have a little bit of rake with the truck because, as you can see over here, I tow a boat. So I don't want it completely flat. Put the boat on, it's gonna have that California, North Carolina squat. I don't want that. So I think this system here is gonna work really well for me. And first things first, we gotta put the grease and put the bushings in the upper control arms to get those ready to go in. I can do the fronts and the upper control arms first. The rear shocks and the rear blocks are going to have to wait until I get to have the shock in. So we'll see what it looks like, see what the process is, the progress. So again, I'll call them on Monday and find out what's going on with that other shock. So, but let's go ahead and get the upper control arms bushings put in and get that ready to go. Okay, so we have the passenger side here, and we have the bushings up here. Some Loctite looks like. This is the uniball right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up putting this through here, put some grease on it, put some grease on these, and we're gonna have to press these in because I don't think they're gonna go in normally. So first things first, we're gonna get some grease. Come on, here we go. Some grease here, pull these apart. That, and then put some grease on this side. We'll plate this in, put it in a vise, and crank that down. So I got my trusty napkin here, shop towel, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Grease that up real good. Grease that up real good. Place this in here. And then we'll end up pressing it into place with the vise. So let's do that one. I'll do this one now. It's already got some grease on it from the factory, looks like, but obviously you want to put more on there so that it's nice and greased up. There we go. I don't think it really matters which way you put them in. They're the same, actually. If you look at this, this will pull off as well. So it's the same as this one. So it doesn't really matter which way you put it in. I'm just doing it this way. And then grease this one. We'll be done. Go over to the... Okay, now once you got the bushings pressed into place right here, it's time to put in the fittings, the Zerk fittings for the grease gun. So you're going to want to open up the package. Use the provided Loctite, a couple grease fittings here. Use the provided Loctite and thread them lightly into place. So one on each side of each arm. Okay, grab a wrench and tighten those down. Okay, it's gonna be a 3/8 wrench. Make sure you're not cross-threading these when you put them on. And you're gonna wanna do it to where it's facing this way, right? Normally, so you're gonna wanna do it to where you can access the grease fittings. So you're gonna wanna have them pointing towards the rounded side here. Just like that, on each side. Okay, just like that, nice and tight, right like there. This one can go a little bit more actually. There we go, that way you can get to them. So they're in there nice and good. Moving on to the next one. Or actually, we're gonna do this piece first here, next. So, okay, so you're gonna take a 1/2 inch starred wrench, right? Or wrench. Take this off. All the way. That's gonna drop out. Now what you wanna do is you wanna put some grease inside of here as well to get that greased up really good. Go. Although just a light coating, because once you put it in, it's gonna just all squirt out anyway. So just do a light coating there. Do a light coating in there like this. Okay. Now it's going to go down this way. Okay, so make sure you put it in properly. You don't want to put it in upside down. It's gonna go down just like that. Put some more grease on this side here. There we go. And we're gonna screw it down just like that. Just do it hand tight for now. Make sure that it's all lined up properly and everything. You can kind of snug it down a little bit. Just a little bit there until we can get it all together. Okay, that one's done. Grimm off-road upper control arms. You can see the really beefy, the way that these are made. You can see how the uniball's in there nice and tight. Doesn't have a cap on it so that it can move around and flex, and this piece doesn't hit the cap. So, but that's how it looks right there, like that. We got the other side to do, and then we'll be done, ready to go in. Hey guys, so here we are on the passenger side. We're going to be installing the Eibach coilovers today. This is the new Pro Truck 2.0, and also installing the Grimm off-road upper control arms on this side as well to help with the articulation and the suspension travel. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to jack up the frame and allow the wheel to hang freely and let the suspension droop all the way before we get started. Crack these nuts off and we'll get started.
Okay guys, I originally intended to film the entire install, but my camera was not functioning and not cooperating with me, so I only got the first part of this install. But you can look online on other YouTube videos and see how to install a set of upper control arms or a set of coilovers for the F150 that'll walk you through the process. It's no different with the Eibach and the Grimm off-road pieces. Again, sorry I didn't get a chance to film the entire thing, but what can you do? A shot of the stock coilover removed, as well as the upper control arm. You can basically pull this whole side off with an 18mm ratchet and a 10mm ratchet. This right here shows you the difference between the stock and the aftermarket coilovers and the upper control arms on the right hand side there. You can see that the Grimm off-road pieces are way more substantial and beefy, and that uniball is really going to be nice for articulation. And then here it is all installed, the stock on the left, and then the right you can see the upper control arm gives it a lot more option to flex. And I got a full 3 inches dialed into the coilovers at this point. I'm guessing it's going to settle a little bit. And here's the before and after. I got a full 3 inches out of these coilovers after dialing them in. And like I said before, I think it is going to settle a little bit, but I'm happy with the look.
Hey guys, the Grimm off-road upper control arms and the Eibach coilovers are installed on my 2020 F-150. You can see the new badges were put on. This truck sits pretty damn level. I got these coilovers set at about 2 7/8 or 2 3/4 inches or 3 inches in the front. Sits a little bit too level for me in the front, maybe up a little bit higher actually. So I do have the rear 3-inch blocks and rear Eibach shocks to put on. So I'm gonna take the 1.5 inch blocks out of the back and put the 3-inch, Lord have mercy, that car. Put the 3-inch rear blocks in with the rear shocks. So but that's what it looks like. What do you think? I think it's a little bit higher in the front than the back. I tow a boat, so I'm gonna put the rear in. But there's, I know some of you guys are gonna be asking me, well, how does it ride, right? So I just put it on. I drove to the park where I shot that video, and it rides good. I mean, it's more firm. I wouldn't say stiff, but it's more firm than it was before. So that's actually good in my opinion. The stock suspension was really soft, really floaty, and I was not a fan of that at all. So this ride's more firm. It's shaking a little bit on the camera there, but it's a really nice ride. It really is. It's not harsh at all. When I turn corners, it's very flat. It doesn't dip. So it's a good ride. The steering arms, the half shafts are not at any bad angle. The angle is actually really good. I'll post a picture now of what the half shafts look like, so you can see they're not at a really bad angle at all. They're at a decent angle, even where I have it set at now. So, but it rides good. It's firm, not stiff, and not harsh. But it rides well. Get the shocks in the rear put on. That might change the ride a little bit, but I don't think that much. So before the wheels and tires go on, I wanted to show you guys, this is at full lock with the stock wheels and tires. These tires here are 275 55 20s. You can see the space between the front crash bar. I'll take you around this side and show you the rear crash bar. So you can see the space there. Now these are pretty close to the inside to the upper control arm here, and this is going to be the same on this side. But just to give you an idea of what it's like with stock sized tires on this setup, and if you're going to do this, you're going to be changing the wheel and tire package anyway, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Measure the front and back. So from the center of the wheel, from the ground to the fender, is 40 inches in the front, exactly on 40 inches from the ground to the center bottom part of the fender flare. In the back, it's at like 39.5. So it's sitting right now about a 1/2 inch high in the front. So when it comes to the rear block, I'm gonna put it in and see what I think. 3 inch, I measured the rear block. The rear block is actually 1 1/8 inches. What they call a 3-inch block from Ready Lift is actually about 3 1/8. So you can see the block there. It's 1 1/8 inches. The Ready Lift, like I said, is 3 1/8. So I'm going up 2 inches. So it's going to be about 1.5 inches rake on the back. So for you guys to calculate, and that's what it's going to calculate to, which is about what stock had, 1.5 inches. So if you're going to have a heavy toolbox in the back, or
most tonneau covers aren't very heavy, but if you're gonna have a heavy toolbox in the back or a chase rack or something like that, or carry your spare tire, 2-3 tires back there, then it may level it out pretty good. But if it's completely empty, it's gonna have 1.5 inch rake after that full kit install. So there we go.